What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Hollywood's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the unique toys. What's his name on here? Dragoon. So many Dragoons. Dragoon Lagoons for Maroons, am I right? Anyway, this was sent to me by Try My Toys. They sent a whole bunch of stickers and stuff. All their information will be in the description. I gotta touch base with them a little bit more today, so I might have some stuff in the final thoughts regarding them. But this is, they sent this to me to take a look at. They hit me up and asked me if I'd be interested, and I try to look at as much stuff as I can, so I said yeah, and here it is. We're gonna talk about this guy. I can tell you right out of the box, it doesn't seem as impressive as their Lockdown or their Prime, but getting familiar with the character, messing around with the toy, etc., can have an impact, so we'll see where it ends up. That being said, we have to look at this guy, we have to compare him with some other figures in our collection. We gotta have some final thoughts, but first we gotta have some accessories. So he comes with a big old axe sword or sword axe, and it is finished in this metallics paint and then this gold that stops halfway up. I'm not sure if that's accurate to the design. It's weird though, like it comes up here. You would think that it would fill out this spear, but it doesn't. It just has a hard stop across the center. Could be true to the design, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's Unique Toys' fault or the design's fault. Either way, it doesn't look great in that regard, but the sculpt looks great, and what is painted looks good. He'll hold that by inserting the tab on the handle into the palm of the hand in typical Masterpiece style, and he holds it just fine. You can store the sword on his back using this peg here on the back. You can theoretically do it on either side. It is a tight fit. I couldn't get it on that peg at all. I could only get it on this one. You can also have the sword mounted to the shield, which might even look cooler. The sword can also tab into the top of the gun either way. In jet mode, it's a bit much in my opinion, but it's an option. What good is a sword without a shield? And he does come with one of those as well. We have the same kind of design. This one looks a little bit more complete as the silver is painted, and then the gold looks more purposeful. It doesn't just stop anywhere halfway through. There it is flat on the other side, so you can see how much the paint does make a difference. And that'll tab right into his forearm. The shield can also peg into his back on a peg, and then you can do everything that you can do anywhere else with the shield there. He also comes with this gun. This is my favorite of the accessories. Once again, we had the silver paint. Once again, we had the gold paint. Once again, they both look good. And we had this chain, which is really gnarly. It's like tri-linked, which does make a difference. It looks more complete. It looks more vicious. It looks more intimidating. It looks more, you know, badass, basically. And then we had this handle in here, a couple other moving parts, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to because of my nails, but we'll show how this works. That will peg directly into his forearm also. And then you can take your chain and bring that around and peg it into the back here of his shoulder, which I think is pretty cool. It's a screw hole, but they found a way to kind of utilize it, so I dig that a lot. You can also have the cannon mounted to the shield, and the chain will still reach the shoulder, so that looks cool too. The gun can also peg in using the longer handle back there, and then your chain will still wrap around and connect to your shoulder piece the same way it did in robot mode. He comes with this extra prime head, which is pretty cool, with the blue paint and silver paint on it. And I'll tell you what's interesting about it is you can have this sort of design with the face, or you can tilt that up. This is on a spring here, and then switch the face so you can have like the face plate down. Smart idea. I'm surprised that no one has kind of done that, you know, in the past. It's pretty clever stuff. So it's on a hinge. I'm guessing it's a swap out head kind of thing. You can look down and up, and then it'll swivel where it pegs in. Gimmicks wise, you can switch the head around, but you got to bring this side down. And that's pretty cool, to me anyway. And these will even rotate in and kind of cover up on his face, which I think is a thing they do in the movies, right? In the battle mode. But yeah, so, you know, cool little gimmick. Also, gimmick-wise, you can open up this flap here and put batteries in and have a light-up feature for your gun. All right, let's take a look at the figure. So the head is on a hinge swivel. It'll get you up to there, down to there, the swivel. Not really confused dog look because of the hinge. Deco-wise, it's really quite nicely done. There's this metallic silver throughout and the metallic gold throughout. On top of that, we have this like very beautiful red paint here on the eye. It's just fantastic. Then we have some copper paint accents as well, but for the most part, it's silver and gold. All right. So for the shoulder, we have the kind of shoulder pads here. They're on a ball peg. That ball peg is attached to a hinge. That should get up and out of your way. For your universal joint, which can get pretty much all the way up, down, you get a reverse butterfly, nothing really forward, and then the swivel around. You have a bicep swivel at the elbow. Same sort of detailings there. And then you have, I guess it's, well, no, it's, I guess it's technically a double hinged elbow, but this hinge right here, you only get a little bit out of. Wrist swivel and hinge in out, which is nice. The fingers are a ball peg for the thumb on a base knuckle, and the secondary knuckle has a hinge. All of these other fingers are on a base knuckle and then have a secondary and tertiary knuckle, but the index finger is the only one individually articulated for the rest of the hands. Same for the other side. Once again, the detailings are staying consistent with the silver, gold, and copper accents. All right, we have a waist swivel. No ab crunch, but we do have a waist swivel. These side pieces here, you can flip. I mean, I know I don't think it's accurate. Like, I don't think it's in the movie, but you can flip these pieces out and kind of have them, if you like that look. They're also spring loaded, which I have mixed feelings about. You kind of have to have his waist just right for them not to pop up, which is kind of obnoxious. Okay, then you have these pieces here. They're on ball pegs, by the way, on top of that, so they'll get up and out of the way. You have these pieces here, which are also on ball pegs. No, they're on hinges, I'm sorry. So you can swivel them up. Full Van Damme. Not the full Monty, but pretty close. All right, thigh swivel. Once again, the detailing staying consistent. And then we have a double hinged knee with a die cast knee. And I can tell you that they're not the best knees in the world. Now, I guess it's technically a single hinge knee. So, sorry about that, but they're loose, as you can see. And a ratchet there would have made all the difference in the world, because it does have some weight issues. He's a pretty top-heavy bot, so it does cause some problems. Ankles, it's basically this bottom pad of the foot, so you can get this down for support. It's more so like a heel spur. You do get a toe tilt up, and then you can get a rocker, but it's a bit unsightly. Not the best. And then there he is from the back, and I got pieces kind of undone there, but there he is from the back. What is kind of remarkable is how clean he is. For, you know, these are busy designs, these bay designs, and he's pretty well kept, for lack of a better term, which is nice. There he is next to MMC's Assaultus. I show this just to show just how, I mean, he's a big bot. He comes up to the bottom of Bruticus' chest. So he's a big boy. To drive that home a bit more, there he is also with an MP car. So let's get him transformed, and in order to do so, we kind of need to split the front from the back. So anything that's going, the arms, for instance, are attached to the back, so I think, so anything that's going to prevent that, we need to get out of the way. So open up these chest panels, get your shoulders up, bring this back section out, and then untab the neck from the chest, and then the back will separate, and you can also kind of see how all of this is going to unfurl as well. Now we need to make it Christmas morning. What does that mean? Open up all your presents. So everything that will open up, open it up. This piece opens, open it. If anything else opens, just open it. When you get to this section, this will open. Then flip this out, because that opens. Then flip them all back together so that you have the front of the kind of jet, for lack of a better term, formed. Next, you want to bring in your shoulder and chest pieces. It can be a little tricky just to get everything out of the way. They're on die cast bars here in the center. Line them up. Those die cast bars are also on a sliding rod. So slide them up and peg them in to these two slots here in the chest that we just sorted out. And actually, I think that we need to, does that flip out now? No, just this. For the pieces here, We'll get to those next. But basically, this horn is spring-loaded, so you want to tuck the horn in. Little horn is born, and this kind of goes behind it, but between the horn and the shoulder pad to kind of hold it in place and keep it tight. Let me get that a little bit better. And make sure the chest is nice and plugged in and everything is kind of collapsed. Next are the kind of waist guards. Once again, Christmas morning, open everything you can. These copper pieces. You can have these open in robot mode too. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. But I think it looks pretty cool that way. And then bring them alongside and plug them in to the side of the jet. We'll do the same thing on this side. So spin 180. Open Christmas morning presents. Bring them up and over. And plug them in right here into the side of the jet on both sides. Then you got to get his butt out and around to the front side to kind of hold these pieces in place, and it'll sit nicely. Then take your copper pieces and fold them towards the middle and plug them into the center piece of the skeleton here. Then we have to stow the head. So spin that around 180 and slide it towards the piece where it's going, and then tuck that in, and then fold up these pieces around it. When we talked about that double jointed knee, theoretically, go ahead and make that a thing now. And then you want to open up your thigh here. Let's try to figure out where this is. Here it is. Open up your thigh. Spin the section that has this gun around 180, and then spin the entire assembly that houses the gun section around 180. For the lower leg, take these pieces and untab them, and then rotate them so that they have the ability to tab in together, and just get them out of the way. Now we have to make a wing. So there's two large components that split here at the lower leg, and it's a little challenging to do this while the camera's in front of me, but let's just make do. Pull that out, split these the best you can. Let's see, why is this not working here? There. And once that is split, right? So one section's going this way, one section's going that way, the wing in the middle is like, what do you want from me? Then we gotta get this cleared. So spin that out. Once again, we're just gonna open up everything that will open. So we're gonna spin that out. We're gonna spin this back. We're gonna spin this back until we have something that resembles a wing. Very challenging to show what has to happen. But get this arm out of the way. Bring your thigh down that houses this piece here. And then we're gonna try to get, like, there's this tab, which is connected to this piece here. And that's gotta sit on this end here. Dude, it is something else. And just try to get it like kind of aligned, where like the wing is coming out perpendicular to the body, and then the kind of thruster here is facing forward, and you got this wing up here in the back. Just try to get it somewhat in this shape before we start trying to peg stuff in. Let's kind of try to start getting the same thing for the other side. So unpeg the knee. That will allow you to split your thigh. Once you've done so, adjust the camera. Rotate the gun section 180. Rotate the entire assembly 180. Moving down to the lower leg, there's two main sections here. Open them up. I'll flip it around and start building your wing. do whatever it takes to clear the space, and then start flipping your flaps until the panels rather, are filled in. Then you have this nightmare to deal with. You want to get your fin up, bring this section as close as you can. As you do so, bring up to try to start lining up this with this. Meanwhile, rotate your section here up. You can bring these pieces up. We forgot to do that. And then bring them towards the middle and peg them in together. And bring your wing up and this piece back. And this is all just prep work. Bring that wing up. And let's see, we can probably get this a little tighter here. I'm starting to become happy with it. It's a nightmare, this thing. Okay, there, that looks pretty good. Oh, we gotta make sure our foot's down. So, I'll let you pause it here if you're working along with me. There's probably better people to look at for this than me. But if you are looking along with me, I'll let you pause it here to get a general idea of where you should be. Now we're gonna tab in this into two sections here. There's two tabs. Let me try to find a spudger so I can show you. There's a tab here and a tab here. There's a hole there and a hole there. Those two are gonna go there. This gun flips out and you can see a little notch there. That's gonna go into this tab. I've already shown you where the thruster connects with this. That's what we're gonna work on. Jesus, take the wheel. Let's try to get it. We're not off to a great start. So yeah, I mean, that's what you're aiming for. I'm gonna do it off camera and we'll come back. Now for the shoulders, make sure that you have them facing you with the cannon up. Bring that up. You wanna bring this down. And let's see here. This comes up, you wanna get that peg into a notch that's underneath this armor section. So like you wanna have it kinda like that. Peg that in. This section here will come down, cover down, and flip up, and then peg all that together. I'll show you it on the other side. I'm not gonna waste your time showing you how to peg stuff together. I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing at this point, hopefully. I say the same for myself. All right, so bring the shoulder. You wanna make sure that you have access to the gun. Bring the gun up, then rotate at that first hinge, second hinge, so that it looks something like that. Bring that underneath, peg that into this piece, that down, this piece comes around and covers down. I'll peg all that together, we'll get back to it. Lastly, these two pieces come down utilizing this peg here and peg in. And I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'll get it cleaned up, we'll take a look at it. The gun can also peg in using the longer handle back there, and then your chain will still wrap around and connect to your shoulder piece the same way it did in robot mode. And there it is. It's massive, so it has that going for it. I'm not overly in love with it. I don't have it 100% right because it's very challenging to kind of get everything lined up perfectly. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is, in my opinion, they had like the Optimus in the Lockdown, which had really involved transformations, but were kind of brilliant and fun. And this one is a really involved transformation that seems like it's going to be brilliant and fun until you get to the legs, and then it's a disaster. Great sculpt work still comes through. This metallic silver, it almost has like a green tint to it, still comes through. And it's huge, but outside of that, I mean, like these spaceships and sorry, from this movie are so abstract that it's like, why bother going through it? There it is next to Tiger Tracks. Final thoughts wise, let's get to it. We'll start with the negatives. For one, the silver paint on here almost has like an olive green flavor to it. It reminds me of that bug looking GoBot, just the color scheme. I feel like the proportions are a little bit weird. Like even if you look at the model of the movie, which I did for this to just refresh my memory, the torso doesn't look quite right on this one, which I'm guessing is probably an engineering thing because the other ones haven't had that problem. And also just because of how busy these designs are, when there's so much of one flat color, in this case, this kind of silverish, greenish, metallic olive green, perhaps is how you should best describe it. Because there's just so much of it, it ends up looking less interesting than it really probably should. I think more color breakup would have done this thing a good service. Different shades of metallics. I think it would have done a lot for it, honestly. And obviously, the biggest thing that we got to talk about is the transformation. Look, it's okay to have an involved transformation. It's okay to have a complex transformation. If you see what they did with their lockdown, it's a pivotal and memorable and historic, in my opinion, transformation for a third-party product. Super involved, super intricate, also super intuitive, fun, rewarding. This is not that. This is just involved and frustrating. Frustrating because there's so many places that don't allow for any margin of error, and yet the engineering itself has 360 degrees of a margin of error. And you have two hinges that have to line up, and both of those have the tolerance of 360. You got to line them up to the nth degree just right. Just makes for a frustrating experience. And then on top of that, you go through all that work, you go through all that pain, suffering, just to get to some super abstract looking spaceship. Now that's not Unique Toys' fault, that's Michael Bay's fault, but you know what I mean. But that's about all I got. Positives wise, I love the first half of the engineering, just to get that out of the way. Most of the upper body stuff with the exception of the arms. It's pretty well articulated. I love the integration of all the accessories. While we're on the topic of accessories, I absolutely love that chain that hangs off of the gun. I think it looks awesome and adds a whole new level to the display aspect of this figure. The materials seem fine. However, due to the lack of ratchets in the knees, you're gonna have problems with stability. It's fully painted, so that's a nice touch as well. However, once again, it's fully painted and somehow still ends up looking less interesting than it should. It's kind of like all the right stuff is here in the wrong order. It's like somebody was following instructions for making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They read the instruction that says put peanut butter on bread, and they put peanut butter on the outside of the bread instead of the inside of the bread. So it was peanut butter, bread, jelly, bread, peanut butter, which is frustrating because it was so close to being right. So now it's time to talk turkey. It's time to talk recommendation. And here is the thing. I can recommend this if you have no intention of really flipping it back and forth and you just kind of want a Megatron to look good on your shelf. However, there might be other better alternatives of a good looking Megatron that don't transform from a statue company or something than what this has to offer. But if that's what you want and you just want to know in the back of your little heart that it can transform, I think you'll be happy. If you plan on flipping this thing back and forth and having a joyous old time with it, I think you'll find yourself frustrated and disappointed like I was. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.